Well, hey, Internet, this is Steve at 1,000-Year Homes. Restorative agriculture is the subject today. So video is supposed to be more about showing me than telling me, but I'm going to show and tell. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to weed whack all of that down, all that overgrowth. Now, I plant like that. I plant as thick as I can. I put beans everywhere, etc., etc. But this is just weeds, runaway weeds. So I'm going to weed whack everything. I'm going to redefine my borders here. The cattle got in, trumped it down. But the drought killed everything. I had some fruit trees growing in here. I had some pretty roses growing in here. This here is the moon-shaped garden. Run away on me. So I've got the backhoe cleaned up. I'm going to get it in here and turn all this super deep. And then the back part of this garden here, I went ahead and took out all of the lumber so that I could pull in with my tractor and churn all this over in here. I'll get out the little stump and the decorative components. And this will be the three sisters. So you're talking squash. I'm going to put in sunflowers and beans. You know, we'll see. Last year I got a lot of squash beetle right away. So I don't know. I think squash are gone. I don't know if people can grow them anymore. We'll see. But I don't have water on the ranch yet. I am a dry cabin out here. So my garden's got to grow all by itself, or I have to bucket out. But I've got a couple of things working for me. One, maybe we'll get all the rain we need, which is 37 inches. Last year, got about 1/10 of that. Well, a third. We got a third of that. No bueno. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna make a trench here that goes all the way to my frog pond over here, and this is how I'm going to manage water on the farm. So all of this will be trenched out, and so when the pond floods, it'll end up running water through a trench here back into the first garden. The first garden I'll cut rows in. When it floods, then it'll go to my moon garden. When it floods, then it'll head out to a large garden in the back I'm going to make out of sunflower seeds. So that's the goal. We'll see how much I get done today. So about an inch is expected of rain. So if I get some time, I'm going to work on this hole a little bit. What I've decided here, that's every bit of 4 foot deep right there. I'm satisfied. This is shallow. I'm going to dig this out and put a little walk-through bridge here with pavers, make it look really decorative, and get that set up. But the flood comes in from a ditch over there. When I'll put a little swale in there to back it up. So it'll flood in, it'll flood this way, it'll flood through here, and then wherever this tops off, I'll tie in my irrigation ditch back around into my gardens. So, well, I'm not afraid of a little bit of rain, but if it starts raining, I'll have to put you all up. So, looky here, Internet, look what I've got. Got myself an old antique gaucho knife. I bought it, paid $85 for it. Now, I don't use antiques like antiques. I put everything to work, but this looks like this machete says Japanese steel. So I gotta believe that once I coat this back up and take care of it all, that I'll be in good shape. But I'll use this. Here, we'll do that. Some of the big stuff that I know that my poor little weed eater will just choke on. We'll get in there. We'll knock it out with this knife. I'm pretty happy with I find antiques, I put them to work. I don't know about y'all, but I am not the kind of guy to but this is not your run-of-the-mill machete. This thing is sharp. You know what? I'll do a restoration video on this. It's worth it, and The little gaucho has an arm sling. I looked up that, Leah did, while we were driving. I paid $85 and she found this historic woven shoulder strap. It was already $138 just for pieces of that. And then she found an antique machete just like it, a gaucho knife. She saw it over $200 somewhere. I don't know, you know, guys put things in a shelf that were never meant to be in a shelf. I don't believe in putting a guitar in a... What a cruel thing, you know. It was built to make music. And here we are, not letting it make music, you know. You know, I might just cut all this down. Man, this was supposed to be a pear tree, and I left it, and it's dead. Looky there. There isn't anything. Let me go ahead and keep cutting. I guess this will be the fastest way for me to get through here. I was gonna, on the outside, I'll use my weed trimmer, but this makes sense. Getting through here. Put on my gloves. I wasn't expecting, I'll put on my gloves. I wasn't expecting to get in these weeds with a machete, but there we are. It's pretty thick, and I'm glad I did. I found some wire chicken tomato holders. They would have tangled up my weed eater. My horses heard me. My horses heard me out here working. Came up an hour early, asking for lunch like they've been starved to death. They get 3 squares a day. I know most people don't feed their horses 3 squares. Con artists is what they are. I just turn everything into mulch with that big tractor. So I got a chipper. I love my garden. I'm real disappointed in me. Getting a late start this year. That's some pretty tall weeds. And I'm embarrassed there as a gardener. The things that you can find in them weeds. A whole backhoe. Little bitty one. Alrighty. I don't know if those are a pest or not, but they get huge out here, a foot long or more, I swear. And but I leave them alone mostly. They do drop on you from the trees. I don't know why. They must detect heat or something. It's a strange thing. They're not toxic or anything. I would not think that they need cattle or anything. My gosh, I let this thing go. I'll do a restoration video on this machete. Like I said, I saw it at the antique store the other day, but I swear the maker mark says Japan, but maybe not. It could be a city in Mexico. But that's not your normal soft steel machete. That thing it's sharp. Does the job. Really something. When the string gets too long like that, that Ryobi just shuts down. All right, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Light it up a little bit. It's too long. It doesn't like what I'm doing. All right. All right. Well, I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out. All right, now that I've got that done, I could go ahead and I see the inside borders. Let me do the outside, but these little wine cups, I do like those. I'm gonna keep those and leave that little pile, but I'm gonna cut all this out so I can see where my tools are. Looky there. Got an old steel sledgehammer. Lots of stuff and a sundial. Bet you a lot of things will come to light. Let's make it come to light. So I'm talking restorative agriculture and being able to live in harmony with Texas. And listen, Texas does not try to live in harmony with you. Every moment of every day, I do not know how pioneers did it, but every moment of every day, Texas is trying to kill you. So anyway, but this garden, I like gardens. I always get tomatoes, so at the very least, I could say I'll have some tomatoes. I did get sunflowers, and then the cattle came in and ate all the tops of the sunflowers off. Well, you know, I didn't have it very well defended. Anyway, let's get this set up. I'll put it on stop motion. First thing I gotta do is shoo away all the weeds and get them on the ground. Then I'll churn them under the soil, and we'll go from there, see how long this takes. Well, I see a little rain on that camera, but I'm gonna keep going. This is making me happy. See, that's why I used that. That's why I used that machete first. I hit a yard ornament and then dumped me down in the weeds and tangled the weeds all around it. I love yard ornaments, but I don't take very good care of them. See what else we might have in there. Just that. Sure, why not? You take care of those trees over there too. Oh man, I don't know if you could see, but I am covered in look at that. Just covered in weeds. And that was after I cut most of that down with a machete. Texas. Well, I'm almost done enough I could see what I'm doing, and then I'll get that backhoe in here. Not wearing these sunglasses to be cool. It's the only safety glasses I could find. And I buy them by the 12-pack. And this is what ultimately boils down to the one pair I never use. But here I am. All right, let's get the rest of this done. And then I could get that backhoe out there. All right. Speed walk you through this. All right, it's raining. You know what I'll do? I'll put y'all in a camera inside the truck and drop the truck window and put you on stop motion, and you can watch me finish up this. I got a old plant in my mouth. Probably toxic too, nightshade. So anyway, you can watch me do this garden with the backhoe. The next step is to fire up my backhoe. I don't mind working in the rain, but the camera does. Anyway, I'm gonna fire up the backhoe, dig this whole thing up, and get all the dirt churned. And I'm gonna dig deep too. I'm gonna dig deep, foot or more deep. Really churn it up, which I didn't do last year. I just did lasagna gardening and threw some weedy topsoil over it. That's why it's so bad. Anyway, let me get y'all set up here in the truck. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but I am covered in weeds. And some sticky weed, there we go. Sticky weed and all kinds of stuff. Let me rinse my arms off so I at least don't get an attack there in my joints. But I'm gonna have to shower up. I don't know if I want to shower before I try to dig, or I think I'm done weed whacking for a little while. I might see if this little bit of storm will roll over, and I'll rinse off and make sure that I don't break out in a rash from poison ivy or whatever might have been in there. So I'll be back to you in just a little bit.